Plump Goops Podcast.
Get a load of these hot takes at high stakes. Get a load of these hot takes at high stakes. Get a load of these hot takes at high stakes. Get a load of these hot takes at high stakes.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the second installment in the 3-episode series in which we recap the most iconic takes this podcast has ever seen. First on our list, we have Corey's most iconic take. The second iconic take from this episode, here's a little hot take about living on the high seas.
Corey, what's your take?
All right.
Glad we got that out of the way.
Yo, you want to know
Those big
my
things
take?
are seeds.
I think countries should exist. Like, why aren't there countries in the ocean? We should have been able to develop as a society to move past the land and just be in the ocean. Giant, like basically
What are you
giant
talking
oil
about,
rigs
man?
exist on the ocean. Like,
Like
just
The one
cities,
frontier we have not colonized.
So riddle me this: the U.S. right is just
Sure.
you only know it as its land. What if like
Yeah.
Hawaii seceded and then instead of just having its islands, their new country expands like a lot of the ocean, and they just like expand from their islands and just make a super like island in the ocean, and that's like their country. We should expand from the land and invade on top of the ocean.
I mean, haven't you heard of Trash Island?
Well, yeah.
I already
So
have. That'd be a good YouTube video, living on Trash Island for 24 hours. Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Wait, so Corey, you're saying that we should live on the ocean?
yeah,
Hmm.
or like we should have countries in the ocean, and like pirates could just run it,
What do you mean pirates could just run it? What does that mean?
like a
Like
pirate
Somalian
society.
Oh,
Sure,
like lawless is what you're saying.
not it doesn't have to be lawless.
What makes a pirate a pirate?
Well, like all their supplies are just like stolen from corporation barges.
Oh, okay.
But since it's international waters, it's lawless.
So are you saying that they should be a country, or it should stay international waters and we should just have pirate communities in the ocean?
Well, the country is only bound by the laws of that country.
Hmm.
So if the country's law was like anything stolen from a corporate barge is
Yeah.
rightfully ours.
I wonder what the deal is with like international waters. Like, can you just claim some space?
You're asking me.
Yeah, I am.
Well, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know all the answers to everything.
Right. But I'm saying that would also be a good YouTube video. We started our own country.
Yeah.
And you're saying we just rob the ships that sail by?
Only corporate barges.
Like corporate barges.
Yeah.
What about like cruise ships?
Well, it's a corporation, basically. We
And
could
it's kind of
steal off
large.
the members. Steal their...
Right. And be like, you're citizens of our country.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
How
just
do you
feel like
create
there
the
should be an
land?
ocean country.
How do you create the land? Like, what do you live on? Or is it just a bunch of boats?
A bunch of boats. I like that better.
How do you get the gas? Siphon from the passing
From
corporate
the
barges?
corporate barges.
Interesting. Interesting.
Plus, no
Um,
one's gonna want to pass you because they're like, "Oh no, we're gonna get, they're gonna get siphoned." So,
Right, so
but
I
people
feel
are
like
gonna
you
want
could
to
easily
give
be
you
bled
stuff.
dry. Right, like people can just
They just-
circumvent your country. Like it's gonna go well for a little bit until people realize, oh, we're gonna get siphoned if we go through this country. Let's just go around, and then we would die.
But that would cost money. So then you can make deals, and then you'd be like, "Here, give us some fresh water, and we'll let you we'll let you come through our
Let
country.
you go. Right.
Like the country could be really skinny and narrow.
really,
it
really
cuts-
skinny and long.
Yeah, it just cuts. It's like Chile, but in the sea. So it just cuts
Right.
the Atlantic Ocean in half.
Right. Our country is literally one big circle, thin circle around North
Yes.
America that anyone who wants to pass through has to pay us,
Yeah,
or else we
basically.
siphon their gas.
you got two options. You had three options actually. Get
What's the third?
Get siphoned. Give us free shit. Or go to war. And no one wants to go to war against the ocean country because, you know, they're the ocean country. And
I
you're
feel like
fighting
a
on the
lot of-
ocean.
I think a lot of countries already have ocean battle pretty figured out.
Yeah, but we're going to perfect it because we're the ocean country.
Right. How are we gonna figure that out?
Well, think about it. How are they gonna fight us I'm imagining that.
I mean,
or
we're
a
pretty
ring.
spread thin if we're one thin circle around.
Yeah, so maybe they
Continent. blow
blow a hole 25 miles. Okay,
Sure.
we can easily recover.
Like a starfish. Like a starfish growing a new limb. We recover.
Yeah, you know, in the movie, Guardians of the
Waterworld?
Galaxy 2,
Oh.
with all the little ships like protecting the planet or something.
The Ravagers. Oh wait,
really?
the golden ships.
Yeah. Or they made like a star thing or wall.
Oh yeah,
ships.
yeah.
It'll be like
Yeah,
that.
that's-
Uh,
Yeah, that's
I haven't to
possible. That's
narrate what you're
possible
talking
with his current technology. Yes, that's possible.
Yes. Well, it wouldn't be in the air. It would just be boats. Just a lot of boats.
I think what we do is we study the genetics of the starfish for years, and we figure out how to like harness it to create regenerating ships
Yeah.
that run on plankton. They don't even need your gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Okay.
I don't feel like that's more outlandish than Guardians of the Galaxy. But
That's a good point.
Whoa. It's just the concept of you just create a wall with boats. It doesn't have
Oh.
to have the same technology. Think about it. Even if
Okay.
you lob a nuke in the ocean,
lob a nuke.
you can run away or like even borderline recover. I mean, there'll be a big wave, but we're just gonna ride it, you know?
Yeah. We'll ride the wave. It'll probably kill our food supply for like years to come.
Yeah, but who says we even
Radiation
are
poisoning.
going to war? No one wants to go to war. And plus, they launch a nuke. We launch a nuke. We already siphoned half
we
the
have
nukes
nukes?
out of their mouths.
We siphon so much nuclear energy.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
I like-
thoughts?
I don't hate this. I like the siphoning a lot.
I'm just saying, my take is that there should be an ocean country by now.
Oh, okay. So you're just saying it's about time.
It's about time. We have the technology.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and doing it.
Right. I don't know. So you're saying it should be a pirate nation?
Yeah, like it would be like a pirate society. People wouldn't want to mess with them, you know, because they know.
Well,
Yeah, right.
okay, you say pirate society, and I don't think you realize like what pirate means.
Well, they
Well, no,
steal
it means
stuff.
like stealing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he's saying.
They don't
Siphon.
steal from each other. They steal from corporate barges.
Right.
Oh, right. Sorry, I wasn't listening to like the first part of you. That okay? Yeah.
You
that's-
missed the whole corporate barge.
Yeah.
I like that. What's the name of the country? Siphon Gang?
No, it's just ocean country.
Ocean country.
Yeah.
Generic ocean country.
And then there will obviously be internal
GOC.
wars, and then they'll separate, and then there'll be multiple ocean countries, but one might go by
Mm.
the name of like South Side Chicago.
Wait, how
or
did you
something.
say their
Right.
borders would exist?
It would just be really narrow.
But like,
But you just eyeball it, Tanner.
It's where the boats are. It's a fluid country.
Yeah,
Like if
just
you
like the
sped up
land they live
tectonic
on.
plates like 20 trillion times speed.
Right, on top of magma.
Yeah.
that's what it would
Yeah.
look like, but like in the course of a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of just looks like if you can imagine boats on water.
Okay, so because that's what it is.
Right. Yeah. I don't know why we needed the tectonic
Like
plate metaphor.
let's be honest, we
There.
have a satellite, or we have the International Space Station orbiting the fucking Earth, and we managed to
Do we
keep
need
that
it?
afloat. I don't see why we can't have a
Seems like a
country on the
non-sequitur to
ocean.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
what about like
What about what? What about what?
like more of like a? I think it's less of a why isn't there, more of a yes there isn't because of multiple reasons.
I don't know, Tanner. I don't know if you considered the corporate barge thing.
Yeah, but why do you have to be on water to siphon gas from corporate parks?
No, you don't need to, but I think you could like benefit. I think there's a lot of untapped potential of making an ocean country.
Okay, that's.
Right. It sounds like a large group of
Have you
people who are really struggling to survive. Is what it sounds like.
have you played the game Raft?
No, but I want to.
Yeah, like that, but like different.
So the what if they
sound
just
like
made
Raft.
one giant boat?
No, that would work too. Like that
Like,
would be
could you-
ideal.
Could you steal a cruise ship and just like call it a country?
Well, and you can live in international waters for like forever without people.
Boat house. That's gonna
I
be
like
my
that
next Twitch stream. Is just looking at boat houses.
Boat houses. That's good. Yeah, Tanner, we're starting a Twitch phenomenon that's just apartment hunting on Twitch.
Oh,
And
I won't watch that.
it's actually fun. It's fun.
Oh, is it like HGTV but like
Yeah,
worse?
it hits that same vein. But we were thinking about like making it competitions. Like, there's one judge who comes on and he's like, "All right, find me a house in Panama City, Florida, and whoever finds like the best house in the price range, according to the judge, wins."
Oh, actually,
Oh.
that sounds fun.
Anyway, Corey, I agree with your take. I think it sounds excellent. I would live in generic ocean country.
Remind me your actual take. Like, what's the? Oh,
What?
Hello.
like, what's your finalized take?
There ought to be an ocean country by now.
Yeah or no?
Yeah,
I'd say-
what's the big deal? What's the big idea?
I'd say no because of seasickness.
That's my only qualm.
There'd be a lot of Dramamine.
I
If
hate
Gus from Psych can't be on it, then it's not a country for me.
Right?
not a country
That's how
for
you live
him.
your life.
Or me.
Next up, a quite infamous take from the mouth of William Houston Vaughn V. Here's a little hot take about tardiness.
It's 3:13. Will said he had to leave at 3:30, so I'm going to throw it to Will now for his hot take so that he can get out of the way just in case he has to leave before we're done.
My hot take, yeah, I'm thinking of it right now. Let's see. It's better to show up late to everything.
Then early?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can I start?
Wait, let me defend.
I just want to
wanna
I want to hear
what
you
your-
elaborate.
Yeah.
Like say
So the thing about
give examples.
thing about showing up late is for example, everybody's already there. Everybody already knows what's going on. And so, like, you show up and everything's already hopping, you know? You don't have to worry about it. Crap, I showed up to marching band late. Oh, God, I wasn't supposed to say anything about marching bands.
Stop hitting the table. Also, who said you weren't
No one said that.
establish those rules?
Anyway, late every day.
Okay, I want to start off with you're the reason why people show up late. The reason why nothing gets started until an hour into the event.
What do you like?
What do you think?
People
What's
who
that
show up
supposed to
late.
mean?
Like you say, it's okay to show up late, but that's the reasoning you said is because nothing happens until you show up late, and the reason that nothing happens is because everyone is showing up late.
Like what? Give an example.
I don't know, a party. It's literally
This
the podcast.
This podcast recording will
Which started, might I add, 30 minutes late.
It started
No.
15 minutes late.
Started 15
Tanner.
minutes late.
You said 2:15.
Yeah, and we started at 2:30.
I thought we started at 2:45.
Will showed up at 2:30, but then you guys wanted to play 2 more games of Smash. So
Technology inhibiting us.
Will, would you say that it's better to show up to job interviews late?
Yeah.
Cool. Why?
So the thing about job interviews, right? You don't want to act like you're too excited about the job.
That's false.
You don't want the job interviewee to
Okay.
just be like, man, this guy's really ready to go. Like, you want him to want you, right? So
I'm kind of following you here. I just have one stipulation. Will, have you ever had
A
job
job.
with a boss that wasn't your father?
yes,
What was the job?
I worked at this coding company. I don't know why they hired me because I didn't
Coding?
know.
Coding?
Yeah.
What major?
What
are
language were you coding in?
Yes.
This is a lie. He's
Yeah,
lying.
what- Hunter,
No,
like,
no,
calling
no,
no
I've
way.
worked at a coding company. It was here in South Lake. They hired me.
What was their name? What was the name of the company?
It was. No. I
He's
don't-
lying.
No, I'm not lying. I
Okay,
swear.
how long ago was this?
This was a couple summers ago.
So
It
you
was a summer
were
job.
barely a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, I was a sophomore.
Did you interview for the job?
I did.
Were you late?
Were you late to that interview?
Oh. I wasn't late to the interview, right? But I was late every day showing up to work.
Is that why you no longer work for them?
No, I don't. I don't work for the coding company anymore because
You got fired.
no, just the people there were real weird, man. I don't know.
Yeah, they
Have you
showed
got-
up early every day.
Yeah, they must have been ready,
ready
to work.
to do
There
their
you go.
jobs.
There was one guy who had horizontal teeth. His teeth were going the
That's
wrong
false.
way.
Oh yeah, you hate to see
That's a
that.
lie. That's not true. Moving on from your fake job that you got one summer in high school.
No, I had the job. I didn't know how to code, so I had to go and talk to everyone. But the problem is coders aren't the most sociable people in general. So it was difficult to
Probably because they were coding.
get them to talk.
Probably because they were working.
One guy was growing sea monkeys on his desk, ranting about Puerto Rico.
What was his name?
Well, his name was Sebastian. He was from Puerto Rico.
So you remember Sebastian from Puerto Rico who grew sea monkeys, but you don't know the name of the company who you worked for.
No. It was like FlowTrack, I think.
Or the
Flow track?
It was an inventory company. I don't remember.
Okay.
Anyway, regardless,
I'll look it
The
up.
fact of the matter is, if you show up late, everything's already hopping, right? You don't have to worry about other people. Like, if you show up late to a get together, you don't have to wait for other people to show up. Everybody's already there.
Sure, yeah. But that you said it's always good. So
Well,
like
always good. Yeah, show
right.
up late to
How
a
about
movie,
a
skip the
funeral?
commercials.
What about a funeral?
Show up late to the funeral, you skip the body.
what are you? Oh, tread lightly on this subject, Will.
What about a wedding?
Show up late to the wedding, you're there for the best part, the reception.
Okay. Oh,
I accidentally showed up late to a wedding a couple years ago. We weren't going to make it to the wedding in time because my entire family is just on the late thing.
What's the late thing?
Just show
What
up
is
late.
that?
Anyway, so we
Is that your family motto?
they're on
Show
your
up late.
shit.
It's great.
We couldn't quite make it to the wedding in time, so we just ate at this super tasty restaurant, and then went to the reception, which is just the best part, you know.
So you didn't really show up late to the wedding. You skipped the wedding and showed up late to the reception.
No, we were very early for the reception. And might I add, it was awkward showing up early to the reception.
Probably because you missed the wedding. The part where the groom and the bride get married. The
I know what a wedding
the
is. You don't have
ceremony.
to explain
The most
it.
important part of the ceremony.
Arguably, the after party, the reception, is better than the party.
That's a time for another
The
pod.
wedding.
That's a take for another pod.
Yeah.
The reception is the party, right?
The reception is.
He's saying that
the wedding is a party. The reception is an after party.
How is the
Weird.
the wedding is a ceremony? It's not a part.
FlowTrack doesn't exist. FlowTrack South Lake doesn't exist. So I mean,
You're
you're probably lying.
No, I promise you. I forgot the name of the company,
Yeah,
but
that's so weird.
Would you ever tattoo "I show up late" on your forehead?
well, that's an entirely different. I mean,
It's removable.
I'll own up to the fact that I'm late to things, but I'm not gonna get a
Okay,
forehead tattoo.
say you're applying to say you're applying to IBM because for some reason you're a coder now. You have an interview. You walk in, and a man in a suit is sitting there looking at his watch. Might I add, he has been looking since you walked in. You notice him. It's very obvious that he's looking at his watch. Would you say, "I showed up late on purpose"?
No, I'd say it's a very nice watch, sir. It's a nice it's a bridge.
Would
What's
you
a
apologize for being late?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, have you ever tried it, Tanner?
Have I tried being late?
To a job interview?
No.
Then you don't know.
And you don't know.
The less
I don't think
know.
any of us know.
It makes them want you, right?
It might just be a social construct that people are like, show up early to your job interviews and you'll get a better job. That might just be like a lie that people tell us.
Is that something that you've been told before?
That's something all of us have been told before. Show up early to your job interview.
Never been told that.
Well, because you've never interviewed for a job.
I've interviewed for a job before.
Never interviewed
Which
for a
job?
Is it FlowTrack?
FlowTrack.
Oh my god.
FlowTrack doesn't exist.
It's
not a
It's not
company.
real. It's not located in South Lake, for one thing. Also, the only FlowTracks I could find were like sports companies. No inventory coding.
What is an inventory coding company?
Yeah.
Explain.
What do they do?
So like let's just say your name is George and you sell pencils, right?
Yeah.
And you have 3 pencils, right? You need to keep track of the pencils. They're valuable. So you go to FlowTrack and you say, hey, I need a program to keep up with these 3 pencils.
Okay. Okay.
So then whenever you sell one, you'd click on the program and it'd take the pencils. Now you have 2 pencils.
Sounds like a smart thing.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you were ever involved in it. You probably just know what it is.
No, I was
Did
there.
you buy the pencils?
Will, do you know what blockchain is? I want you to go home tonight and look up what blockchain is.
I want you... Okay. All right.
No retort. No retort.
Okay, I think we should just go around.
Yeah.
I'll start. I disagree. I think it's good to show up past the on paper time to parties. That makes sense. To job interviews doesn't make sense. To sports events sometimes makes sense. To sports games you're playing in doesn't make sense. To weddings doesn't make sense. Very disrespectful. To funerals, definitely don't show up late. So yeah, I just disagree on many fronts. Sometimes it's good, but that was a bad.
Most of the
that was a
time.
bad take.
Yeah, I disagree as well. On the same grounds as Cameron. Like some settings, it's okay. Definitely party settings, social gatherings, somewhat, but it's inconvenient and a little rude to the people who are waiting for you. Thus, I would say
Dang.
disagree.
I also clearly disagree. And I am telling Will, as a friend, you gotta show up on time for a job interview.
All right.
You got that?
So, after hearing you all, yes, I disagree.
You disagree with
You
your own
disagree
take?
with your own take?
Well, you see, I showed up late to this thing, so I didn't have a take prepared.
Oh, personal anecdote
I-
coming in for the win.
I was just trying to, I didn't have a take prepared. And then whenever Cameron was like, all right, well, it's your turn. We're switching it up. I was like, oh. So, I mean,
Sure.
I'm not going to show up late to a funeral, to a wedding, maybe.
Funeral, no. Wedding, maybe.
Maybe. Wise words.
The last take we're going to show today comes from the only in-person podcast of 2021. Here's David's hot take about the best meal of the day.
Okay, David, I'm just going to hand the mic to you for your take. So I'll tap you when I want to talk.
Alrighty, Roo.
Do you want to lean in a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, get in the frame.
So Cameron, this debate, you'll be familiar with it. This ranged all the way back to middle school lunch times. Breakfast, by far, has the most superior food options. And I'm not talking. I know people don't. Not everyone wants to eat breakfast. I'm talking about flavor, I'm talking about. I mean, you can have healthy breakfast, you can have good sweet breakfast, you can have easy quick breakfast, you can make an elaborate breakfast. There's a reason schools have breakfast for lunch, and there's a reason people make breakfast for dinner. It's because breakfast has the superior food.
People do that? I guess people do.
Everything you said could literally be applied to any of the meals. Also,
No.
people also have dinner for dinner far more often than they have breakfast.
Yes, but people don't have dinner for breakfast. Like, what besides like leftover pizza? Like, you're not making a salad.
No.
And steak and eggs, that's a breakfast.
I think it's because every mealtime has its place, but also I think that people overemphasize the time that you can eat foods too much. Mark, we've talked about this on pod before, you and me together. I think that, or like you said earlier, you ordered a chicken parmesan. You've said this on the pod.
This isn't canon, though. This isn't canon, though.
It is canon. You said it on the pod before.
The chicken
You've
parm?
told that story on the pod before, yeah.
God.
Tell it again. Tell it again.
Fuck. I don't want to.
Veronica ordered a chicken parm sandwich for dinner, and everyone was like, "That's a lunchtime food," which is ridiculous. And I would say, what?
I'd say there's definite crossover between lunch and dinner.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that dinner has so many more options. So there's a reason that there's a breakfast menu, and then they take it away.
And then there's just the rest of the menu.
There's the rest of the menu.
Some places have lunch menus. Some places have dinner menus specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair, but both the lunch and the dinner menu are more expensive than the breakfast menu.
I would argue about that.
I think the lunch menu is
I would
probably
say
the
that
most
breakfast can have a much more expansive menu. It just depends on the place you go.
It's always just like different types of ways you can prepare eggs and different types of ways you can prepare pancakes.
If you go to a steak place, it's just different types of cuts of steak.
Disagree. There's so many sides. There's so many appetizers.
There's different sides at breakfast. There's many sides at breakfast.
Not nearly as many as dinner. Not nearly as many as dinner.
But they don't taste as good.
Cap. What
I
are
think
the breakfast sides? What are the breakfast
You got
sides?
hash browns. You have eggs. You can get a muffin. You can get toast. You can get biscuit. I mean gravy or grits. All of it. Ham. All of it. Fruit. All of it.
I mean, I think
All of it.
I think the volume argument isn't really valid. It should just be more
'Cause I
about
said a
quality.
superior
It should
flavor.
Be about,
Well, I think that the volume argument definitely is qualified because you go to a steak place and there's only steak stuff for dinner, right? But then you go to, let's say, a Mexican food place and the breakfast menu is going to be the same, but the dinner menu is going to be vastly different. So there's Mexican cuisine, there's Chinese cuisine, there's Indian cuisine, there's classic American
that
cuisine.
all applies to breakfast.
Not even close to as much. Not even close.
But I'm not talking about volume.
But the cuisine.
I don't think
still
volume
have
plays into
breakfast
it.
items. Yeah, there's like Indian.
And that's fair. But would you say that in those breakfasts, the volume of food that you eat for dinner is greater than the volume of food that you eat for breakfast?
Yes. Yeah, but that still goes back. Like, I don't think volume is a good indicator.
I think volume is the only indicator because otherwise it's just.
Well, also like some of the sides, it's like some places will have mixed vegetables or individual vegetables listed out, and like, does that represent volume? If one dinner menu has mixed vegetables or one menu has 8 individual listed out?
I think the restaurant argument shouldn't be made because there are so many different kinds of restaurants that just offer different things. I just think it should be the collective body of work. And the collective body of work of dinner is way larger than the collective body.
Well, okay.
But I think the four of us, or at least me, Sam, and Ronick, have established that that's not important to my take.
Well, I think
volume doesn't play into quality of food.
It's the only way to objectively measure it.
If people didn't want breakfast so much, then why did fast food places start offering breakfast all day? Because people wake up late and they still want breakfast.
If you went to any fast food place, I would guarantee that they sell way more food at dinner and lunch than they do at breakfast.
Yeah, because most people eat breakfast at home.
The fuck?
I mean, sure, but
this is doing murder for white noise levels. The rain.
Still, a restaurant is much more likely to take away their breakfast menu than their dinner menu. That's why so many places are not even open for breakfast.
Well, okay, here I kind of agree that in terms of like looking at it objectively, that volume is a good indicator, but also I don't think it matters. Like, if it's a good indicator, then it makes it completely, you know, objective, and then there's no way to be hot. There's no way to have a hot take.
I mean, also, if we're going to go volume, I said earlier that, I mean, breakfast is much more commonly eaten at all 3 times than like dinner would be eaten at breakfast.
That's a fair point too.
That is a fair point, but I think it's because of the weird societal standard that we have that food has to be based on a time of day, which I think is.
I think breakfast breaks that, doesn't it? If you're eating it at lunch and dinner.
No, because there's some kind of weird societal standard that's like breakfast should be eaten early because it powers you up for the day, but so many people just eat shitty breakfasts that don't power you up for the day. For instance,
that was a take.
I know.
Wait, I'm pretty sure that was employed by like breakfast companies.
What was employed by breakfast companies?
Like that breakfast is like the most important meal.
Yeah.
That was like a lie.
Yeah, it's not. That's why that's why intermittent fasting is so popular now. I mean, that's not why, but like that's an indicator that intermittent fasting is so popular, and it's an indicator. I mean, sure.
You can still have an omelet.
What?
You can still have if you think that people just eat shitty breakfast, like you can still whip up an omelet or something healthy.
No, I agree that you can just whip up an omelet, but the fact that people eat absolute shit for breakfast breaks the mirage that you should have certain foods at certain times of day. And I think that that's just a weird societal standard that we have that's kind of perpetuated by the breakfast companies, like Sam said, that you should eat breakfast food at this time. And that's the reason why people don't eat dinner food for breakfast. Also, I feel like plenty of cultures do eat dinner food for breakfast. It's just an American thing that we do.
Do you have proof on that?
Yeah. There's a big thing in like Latinx cultures, for instance, where they'll just take leftovers from the day before and kind of like they'll just like mix in some eggs for a little bit of protein, and then they'll eat the rest of their dinner leftovers the day after.
Is that still a dinner food at that point? Or
Yes, 100%. Because the dinner food is most of what they're eating. They're just mixing in eggs for protein. And because of like the weird societal standard that like eggs means breakfast.
I still think that the flavor you get and the volume. I mean, I think there are just as many good breakfast foods as dinner foods, even if a dinner place does. Ronnie, can you put the mic to Sam, please?
I just disagree. Dinner has much more variety.
Yeah.
Like,
I think honestly, I disagree too. But I think the quantity argument is kind of
Yeah, I don't know why that played in, really, truthfully.
So the quantity argument plays in because yes, there are a lot of good breakfast foods that I enjoy, but there are way more good dinner foods that I enjoy. And the options that you have, I think, is absolutely a way to judge the quality of a meal.
But to be fair, that's what makes
the quality
his
of a meal, like time of like the quality of like dinner, breakfast, lunch, not like the quality of what you're eating at the time.
That's what makes his take hot, though, is the fact that, like, whoa, tumbleweeds.
Right. I'm not saying that it's not hot.
Whoa, that was crazy.
I think it is certainly a hot take. Actually, I think I think if you polled America, I think it'd be half and half, to be honest. To be completely honest.
That's pretty hot.
I mean, I guess you could say that.
That's pretty fucking hot. That's the most divisive you can be.
No, the most divisive you can be is having an opinion that 10% of people have, or like the less amount of people that have that opinion. I think the hotter it is, right? Don't you think?
Hotter doesn't.
In some sense, unless it's just like cold.
I guess.
No, I'm not saying divisive. I'm saying unpopular.
Right.
I think that also like a lot of cultures don't place nearly as much emphasis on breakfast that America does. Like a lot of places just eat like bread and fruit and that's it for breakfast. I'm not saying that that's bad. It's just like I think in America the emphasis is so heavy on breakfast.
I'd argue that maybe those cultures aren't aware of the vast goodness that breakfast can provide them.
The vast goodness that General Mills cereal can bring to you.
Yes, sir. Cinnamon Life.
That sounds like honestly a mission trip that you could go on, David. Spreading the good word.
I'm gonna spread breakfast across the globe. It'll be my next vlog.
The Eggman.
This place looks kind of
The Eggman is coming.
Pass the plane.
Whoa.
I like this.
Well, it's a little casino right here.
Kind of like it.
I'm gonna gamble this take.
What the?
This take is worth $100. I'm gonna go gamble it.
The super vertical.
Those trees are cool. Anyway, Ronick, so do you agree or disagree with this take?
I agree with the principle. I agree with the choice, the ability to choose.
Do you? My take is that breakfast has the most superior food, taste-wise.
I disagree. I'm lunch. No, I'm joking.
I think I have to disagree for Sam's same point. Like, there's just a lot more variety, and sometimes like I'll get tired of breakfast foods. While they are very good, I can just change it up for dinner and lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say that breakfast is the most frustrating meal of the day for me because I'm always like, what the fuck do I eat that's not just eggs or waffles? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like a bagel. It's just like breakfast. I mean,
So it's an inflection point. It's pretty important.
There are a lot of times of the day that are inflection points, but there is one time of the day that is the biggest one. I think this take. I mean, obviously this take comes. I've never been a breakfast guy. I've never really been excited about breakfast, and that's always informed my decision. On dinner, I just think dinner is objectively better in my opinion.
It's objectively better in your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, people are allowed to have objective opinions, right? Is that a thing?
Objectively, yeah. In your opinion.
Your reality might be different than my reality. That's all I'm saying. Sam, what do you think? Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree because the number of breakfast foods that would make me happy eating is way smaller than the number of dinner foods that I would be happy to eat / cook. You know?
I will say that breakfast foods are made more into the spicier you make your breakfast food, the closer to dinner it is, and that's in just in terms of vibe, it's more dinnery. The more hot sauce you put on.
Yeah.
I agree with my take.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's an important point as well. That like a lot of, like I feel like, okay, David, would you agree or disagree with this? That the point of breakfast, most of the time, is to have something that fuels you for the rest of the day that doesn't make you feel super heavy or like loaded going into the day. Would you agree with that, or do you see breakfast in a different way?
I see it fueling me until lunch or maybe a snack before. Like if I'm not able to eat a big breakfast, then I'll have a snack before lunch, but I see it fueling me to lunch. Yes.
Okay. I think that a lot of people, for instance, like with pancakes or like with spicy foods or garlicky foods or really heavy foods, I think that they get away from, obviously breakfast means different things to different people, but from like the general view of breakfast, I feel like they get away from that.
I think pancakes provide great fuel. I have them every Sunday.
Sunday is different though. Sunday is different than like you don't necessarily need to be fueled on Sunday.
No.
Like I think it's fine to eat pancakes.
You're
on
supposed
Sunday.
to eat breakfast in the morning, especially on Sundays, because it fuels you for the entire week.
Especially when you intermittent fast for 6 days straight like me.
Exactly. So not intermittent.
It's not really super intermittent.
It's pretty mittent at that point.
I don't eat for 20 days out of the month, and then my feeding window is 10 days out of the month.
You're a bear. You're absolutely a grizzly bear.
Plump Goops Podcast.